if all you do is tell this narrative of, hey, here's my plan, here's what I need, here's the part you play in it, right? That's pretty good. Most students probably are not going to do that, right? Like I said, a lot of the tendency is just, hey, this is a chance for you to tell more about you as a person, and so vaguely some personal story about some memory they had, or some sort of character building, right? Some sort of skill, something like this, leadership, that kind of thing. Which also is not necessarily bad, especially if you do it in a good way. The way you can take it to the even next level, right, is you start thinking about how you tell this story. So I already started talking about it by talking about you're going to be writing about memories, right? And so then you can start to apply just sort of classic, tried and true storytelling techniques to improve the uniqueness of the writing, right? You already have a good, solid content about what you're saying and makes you stand out. Now, can you show sort of another level of articulation and writing with things like metaphors, similes, hyperbole, descriptive language, right? Sensory experiences, your five senses. What were you hearing, smelling, touching at the same time, right? If we go back to the dishwashing example, in the sink, right? You got the smell of soap, you got hot or cold water. And then even when I start going into those details, okay, I'm not just throwing those details in. Number one, just throwing those details in does kind of make it a better story because it paints a picture, right? And it's more relatable. It's a little bit more interesting. But you also don't want to just stop there. But so for something that I was just saying, right, I'm washing the dishes, and at one point I noticed the water's really cold, right? And so what effect does that have on the efficiency of washing these dishes? So I thought to myself, you know what, I better change this to hot water. And what can I observe and notice that effect has on the efficiency of washing these dishes, or the effectiveness? One gets through grease better, one doesn't, right? And so that's where, again, it's a little bit more fuller in depth of a layer of, I actually had this experience, right? I'm not just lying. It's a lot harder to make up that sort of lie and story of all these little details and the impact that it had on your thinking. So if you can do something like that, not only are you situating it in, again, this sort of long-term career trajectory, you're a good storyteller and good at communicating what it is you need to get across.